DJ Pro Drop Swap Tutorial. I'm DJ Spiegel Spin, and I'm going to show you how. Okay, now the drop swap is a really cool technique, and in this video I'm going to teach you guys a couple ways how to do it. So let's get into it. What the drop swap is when you're playing two EDM songs, and then when the first song is about to do a drop, you play the drop of another song. So you did a smooth transition and people were expecting something to happen at the drop, so it sounds really good. So I'm going to show you with these two example songs. Alright, so this first song, the drop is going to be over here. So this is what it does. So let's put a cue point right there. Cue point. To put a cue point, you go here to the mixer, and then you go to cue, and then we're gonna, whoops, we lost it. All right, right here is our drop. Then we'll add that, and then we'll just name it drop, just to make it easier. So now this is just going to give us a visual representation of when we're going to play the other drop. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Find the drop. Right there. You could use the set and then the cue button here just so you don't lose it. And now we go here, go to cue. Boom. Drop. So now we got our drops. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to let the song on deck number 1 play, and when the drop, at the exact time that the drop hits, we're going to hit play on the second song right on the drop, and you could either cut the crossfader or you could cut the volume. I think it's easier if you're just using the iPad just to move the crossfader over. Or another thing you could do is have the crossfader all the way over, and then hold your finger on the middle of the crossfader, and then right when you let go, it'll snap back. So it's however you want to do it. I usually just boom, move the crossfader. So let's do this one. So now we're waiting for that drop. Okay, one thing that you have to know is don't have any start time. So we go over here, general, and you see over here start time 0.4 seconds. That's going to make that sound of the record speeding up, and we don't want that at all. So let's hit 0. All right, let's try this again. There we go. And now we're in the second drop, and if you want to, you could go back and forth. So that is the easiest way to do it. It doesn't require you knowing how many beats or bars or counting the time before the drop. So you just find the drop in the second song, and you simply just switch it. So there is a more complex way to do this, and I'm going to show you that now. So now we got the drops. So what we want to know is how many beats it is until the drop. You put a skip. So let's skip 632 back. So have it on both sides. Skip 32. And now we're going to go 32 back. Okay, and this is where we're going to start mixing in. So we're going to set some new cue points. Let's just do that, and then start. We're just naming it to make it easier for us. All right, now the same thing on this side. Cue. Boom. Start. So now the idea is we found 32 bars away from the drop. So when the first song is playing and we get to that cue point, we could start mixing in the second song, and then it'll be in perfect time to just switch the drops. So I'll show you guys. It sounds a little complicated, but it's not. So have the second song on start, where you plan to start it. Right there. And then I'm going to start it with the volume low, so put the crossfader like mostly to the left. And then we're going to start the song and we're going to mix it in. You could use sync, you don't have to. And there you go. It's more professional, and it's definitely, it's not harder to do, it just takes the preparation of doing the beat skip. But now you know every time you play these two songs together, you could start this song, you know where to start it because you have these cue points, and you could have more than one of them. Just make sure that you move the crossfader so there's only one drop at a time. So that's the way that you should do it if you're preparing for your sets and you have time to prepare. But also if you were in a pinch and you just want to, get a mix going that you weren't prepared for, then you could just do the first one that I showed you and just line up the drop for the second song, and right before the drop on the first song, you could press it. Now, another way to do the drop swap is we're going to use it to make the song go a little faster. So instead of when you DJ, especially with EDM music, you want to keep the pace moving, you want to keep it fast paced. So most of the time you're not going to play the full song. So a good way to cut a big chunk out of the song without it being noticeable is by doing like a drop switch or a drop swap, but in the same track. So this is how we're going to do it. We got drop, and then we're going to go to the second drop. And oftentimes the second drop or the last drop in the song has more effects and is a little bit more dramatic, and it's the better drop. So you'll be skipping to the better drop anyway. So here we go. We're going to set our cue point, and this is going to be drop 2. You guys can name it whatever will be helpful for you. So drop 2. And now what we're going to do is we're going to play the song, and when it gets to this first drop, we're just going to hit drop 2. And while the song's playing, it'll continue to play, and it'll be impossible to notice, and now you just cut a huge chunk out of that song. So I'll show you guys. So the drop's coming up, get ready. And then there you go. So it's impossible to tell that what you did, and then it can speed up and skip a whole big chunk out of a song that you didn't want to play. I do that on most of the time I play EDM songs. I'll go straight to the second drop. So if you guys learned something, and if you guys like learning about DJing with the iPad, DJing with DJ Pro, and the future of DJing, I'm also making a lot of videos about DJing in the metaverse. So subscribe to this channel and share it with a friend. Thank you.